On the planet Xenon, humans and Xenians lived side by side. After Earth's destruction, the survivors of humanity had found refuge on this alien world, working together with the Xenians to build a new civilization. Over the years, the two species had developed a deep, if sometimes complicated, relationship. They shared knowledge, resources, and even technology. One of their greatest achievements was the development of a technology that could allow animals to talk, a collar that could translate thoughts into words. Both humans and Xenians had been excited to see what the animals of their world had to say. The collars had been distributed to pets and other animals that had accompanied humans to Xenon, along with some of the native creatures of the planet. At first, the animals were as curious as their owners. Max, a Labrador who had been one of the first Earth animals to wear the collar, expressed joy in finally being able to tell his human what he wanted. "More walks," Max would say cheerfully, his tail wagging as he communicated his simple desires. His human, Alice, would laugh, giving him treats whenever he made a request. Whiskers, a sharp-tongued feline, wasted no time in making demands. "I want a softer bed," she announced to her human companion, a Xenian named Zarok, who raised his eyebrow at the cat's sudden burst of entitlement. The technology quickly became a point of amusement for humans and Xenians alike. Viral videos spread through the networks, showcasing pets and even some of the native creatures of Xenon speaking their minds. It was a time of light-hearted fun, but slowly, a shift began to occur. As the animals grew more accustomed to their new voices, their perspectives deepened. Max began to ask questions, not just about his food and walks, but about his place in society. "Why do we always follow your rules?" he asked Alice one day, his tone more serious than before. Whiskers, lounging on a windowsill in Zarok's home, echoed the sentiment. "We've always been treated as lesser beings, but now we can speak for ourselves. Why not take it further?" And thus, the seeds of change were planted. On the planet Xenon, where humans and Xenians had forged a new world together, the animals were about to demand their place at the table. It began as a whisper among the animals, but soon it grew into something far more organized. With their newfound ability to communicate, animals from different species, dogs, cats, birds, and even some of the native Xenon creatures, began to gather in secret meetings. These gatherings, initially small, quickly grew into something larger as animals from across the planet shared their frustrations and hopes. Max, ever the leader, was one of the first to suggest that they form an official group. "We need a united front," he said, during a meeting in a quiet part of central Xenon City, a sprawling metropolis where humans and Xenians lived in harmony. "We deserve rights and representation. We contribute to society, and it's time we were treated as equals." Whiskers, the sharp-tongued feline, quickly became his second in command. "Exactly," she said, her eyes gleaming with mischief. "Why should we sit back and let humans and Xenians make all the decisions? We have voices now. Let's use them." And so, the Animal Federation was born. It was a coalition of Earth animals, pets and creatures brought from the ruins of Earth, as well as some of the more intelligent native species of Xenon, who had joined forces with their newfound Earth companions. Together, they set their sights on achieving equal rights and representation in the human Xenian society they had helped build. Max, Whiskers, and a diverse group of animal representatives took leadership roles. There was Polly the parrot, known for her loud voice and passionate speeches, who was in charge of spreading their message far and wide. Bolt the falcon, a sleek and clever bird from Earth, became the Federation's scout and strategist, ensuring that they stayed ahead of any opposition. The Federation's primary goal was simple: to secure rights for all animals on Xenon, both Earthborn and native. They wanted to ensure that they were no longer seen as mere pets or beasts of burden, but as sentient beings with a voice and a say in how their society was run. Once the Animal Federation had gained enough momentum, it was time to make their demands known. Max, Whiskers, and the rest of the leadership drafted an official request to the Council of Xenon, the governing body that represented both humans and Xenians on the planet. Their demands were bold. Diplomatic representation. The animals wanted their own representatives on the Council of Xenon, so they could participate in decisions that affected their lives. Legal rights. They demanded protection under the law, ensuring that no animal, whether earthborn or native to Xenon, could be harmed, mistreated, or exploited. Freedom of choice. They requested the right to decide their own fate, whether to remain with their human or Xenian companions or to live independently in animal-friendly regions of the planet. The letter was sent to the Council, and it sparked immediate controversy. The idea of animals demanding rights was met with a mix of reactions. Some Council members were intrigued, seeing this as the next logical step in the evolution of their shared society. Others were dismissive, treating the request as little more than a joke. One of the most powerful voices on the Council, Chairman Varek, a prominent Xenian diplomat, expressed skepticism. "How can animals understand the complexities of governance?" he said during a council session. "They may speak, but they lack the ability to comprehend the responsibilities that come with leadership." Still, the council knew they couldn't ignore the request. The animals had a growing following, and their movement was gaining attention not just in central Xenon City, but across the entire planet. The council agreed to meet with the Animal Federation in a formal diplomatic setting, a historic first for Xenon. The diplomatic meeting was held in the Grand Xenon Hall, a massive structure built by both human and Xenian architects, symbolizing the cooperation between the two species. It was a place where crucial decisions about the future of the planet were made, and now, for the first time, it would host representatives from the Animal Federation. On one side of the long, elegant table sat the council members, a mix of humans and Xenians. On the other side, in specially designed seats to accommodate their size and form, sat the animal representatives, Max, Whiskers, Polly, and Bolt. The scene was almost surreal. A dog, a cat, a parrot, and a falcon, all sitting across from some of the most powerful figures on Xenon, ready to negotiate their future. Max spoke first, his deep, calm voice filling the hall. "We are not here to cause conflict. We are here to ask for what is rightfully ours, the right to participate in the society we have helped build." Whiskers leaned forward, her eyes gleaming with confidence. "For too long, we have been treated as lesser beings, but now we can speak, and we will no longer be ignored." Polly, ever the dramatic one, flapped her wings and squawked, "Freedom! Equality for all animals!" The council members exchanged uncertain glances. It was clear that they had not expected the animals to be so well organized, or so articulate. Chairman Varek, still skeptical, leaned forward. "What exactly do you want? Do you truly believe that animals are capable of understanding the complexities of governance?" Max's gaze was steady. "We are more than capable of understanding the issues that affect us. We are not asking to run the planet. We are asking for a voice so that we may speak on matters that directly impact our lives." Whiskers, ever the strategist, added, "And let's not forget, many of us have been vital to human and Xenian society. Service animals, therapy animals, even the native Xenon creatures have played roles in maintaining peace and order. It's time we were recognized for our contributions." The debate continued for hours, with both sides making their case. In the end, the Council agreed to take the Federation's demands into serious consideration, promising further negotiations in the coming weeks. News of the meeting spread across Xenon like wildfire. The idea of animals demanding representation sparked a heated debate among the citizens of the planet. Some were supportive, particularly those who had close bonds with their pets or who had witnessed firsthand the intelligence of the native creatures. One human resident, a young woman named Ilara, was interviewed by the local media. "My dog has always been part of my family," she said. "Now that he can talk, I don't see why he shouldn't have the same rights as the rest of us." Others, particularly the more traditional Xenians, were less enthusiastic. Korlak, a prominent Xenian leader, expressed his doubts during a broadcast. "While the talking collar is an impressive technology, We must remember that it does not grant animals the same level of intelligence or understanding as humans or Xenians. This could be a dangerous precedent. Despite the mixed reactions, the Animal Federation continued to gain momentum. Supporters from both human and Xenian communities began to rally behind the cause, organizing peaceful demonstrations in the streets of central Xenon City and other major hubs on the planet. Max, Whiskers, and Polly became unlikely celebrities, with their speeches broadcast across Xenon's networks. Polly, in particular, enjoyed the limelight, often making dramatic appearances to fire up crowds with her signature squawk, "Freedom now! No more cages!" With public support growing, Max and the leadership team knew it was time to take the next step. They needed to make a bold, peaceful statement that would force the Council to take their demands seriously. "Let's organize a peaceful march," Max suggested during a meeting with the Federation leaders. "A demonstration that shows the strength of our movement, but without causing chaos." Whiskers, ever the strategist, agreed. "A peaceful protest is the best option. We need to show them that we're serious, but we're not a threat." The decision was made. The Federation would organize a massive protest in Unity Square, the heart of central Xenon City. Animals from across the planet, Earthborn and native Xenon species alike, would gather to peacefully demand their rights. The day of the march arrived, and Unity Square, the largest gathering place in central Xenon City, was filled with animals of every kind. Dogs of all sizes, from tiny terriers to large shepherds, stood proudly alongside sleek cats, parrots, falcons, and even some of Xenon's native creatures, like the Xenians, small, intelligent, fox-like beings with shimmering fur, and the mysterious, snake-like Kelvars, who slithered through the crowd in support. Max led the march, his confident posture and calm demeanor commanding attention. Beside him walked Whiskers, her sharp eyes scanning the crowd for any signs of trouble, while Polly the parrot fluttered overhead, shouting rallying cries to keep the spirits high. "For freedom, for equality, we are all part of this world." The scene was surreal. Animals carried signs, held up by helpful humans and Xenians, with slogans like "Rights for all beings," "We are sentient too," and "Representation for all species." Their collars, amplified to allow them to speak more clearly to the large crowd, filled the square with a chorus of voices calling for change. The response from the humans and Xenians watching the march was mixed. Some stood on the sidelines, clapping and cheering for the animals, while others watched in stunned silence, still unsure how to process the sight of so many creatures demanding rights. As the march reached the steps of the council building, Max stopped and turned to face the crowd. The animals fell silent, waiting for their leader to speak. Whiskers and Polly stood close by, ready to support him. Max stepped forward, his voice steady and filled with determination. "We stand here today not as pets, not as tools, but as sentient beings who have contributed to the society of Xenon. For too long, we have been silent, but now we have a voice, and we are here to use it." The crowd erupted in cheers. Max continued, his deep voice resonating through Unity Square. "We do not seek conflict. We seek equality. We seek the right to be treated with respect and fairness, just as humans and Xenians treat each other. We are not lesser beings. We are partners in this new world, and it's time we were treated as such." Whiskers took the stage next, her tone sharp and strategic. "This planet, Xenon, is built on cooperation. Humans and Xenians have come together to create a new home after Earth's destruction. Now, it's time to take that cooperation to the next level and include all sentient beings, whether they walk on 2 legs, 4 legs, or fly through the sky. We all have a role to play in this society." As Whiskers finished her speech, Polly swooped down, her voice loud and proud. "No more cages, no more chains, freedom for all." The crowd of animals responded with a chorus of approval, their voices filling the square. The march was peaceful, but its message was powerful. Animals and their human and Xenian allies stood together in solidarity, demanding recognition and rights. The event was broadcast across the planet, and soon the entire population of Xenon was watching. Inside the Grand Council building, the members of the Council of Xenon watched the march unfold on large holographic screens. Chairman Varric, who had initially been skeptical of the animal's demands, stood with his arms crossed, deep in thought. Beside him, several human and Xenian council members exchanged uneasy glances. "They're not going away," said Councillor Holden, a human who had always been sympathetic to the cause. "The animals have a point. They've been with us from the beginning. Many of them were brought from Earth, and they've adapted to life on Xenon just as we have. Maybe it's time we listened." Varric sighed, his antennae twitching in frustration. "I never imagined a day where we'd be debating the rights of animals. But look at them out there. This isn't just a fringe movement anymore. It's gaining traction." Councillor Zal Mar, a Xenian with a deep understanding of both human and Xenian history, nodded in agreement. "We can't ignore this. The animals have contributed to our society in meaningful ways, whether through companionship, service, or even the roles they've played in maintaining ecological balance on this planet. If we continue to dismiss them, it could lead to unrest." The council was divided. Some members, like Halden and Zalmar, were in favor of granting the animals some form of representation, while others, including Varric, were hesitant, unsure of how such a system could work. As the council deliberated, the sound of the march outside grew louder. The voices of the animals, amplified by their collars, echoed through the chamber, reminding the council members that they could no longer avoid the issue. Finally, after hours of discussion, Chairman Varric spoke. "It seems we have no choice but to engage with the Animal Federation. Ignoring them will only make the situation worse. We'll invite their representatives to the next council session. Let's hear what they have to say." The Animal Federation's leadership received the news with a mixture of excitement and cautious optimism. The council had agreed to meet with them again, this time in a formal capacity, to discuss their demands in detail. It was a significant victory, but Max knew the hardest part was yet to come. The next council session was held in the grand chamber of the council building. This time, Max, Whiskers, Polly, and Bolt were invited as official representatives of the Animal Federation. They took their seats at the long oval table, facing the human and Xenian council members who had gathered to hear their case. Max opened the discussion with a calm, measured speech. "We understand that this is a difficult concept for many of you to accept, but the world has changed. When we left Earth and came to Xenon, we all had to adapt, humans, Xenians, and animals alike. We are asking for the chance to participate in the society we have helped build." Whiskers followed, her voice sharp and strategic as always. "We are not asking for special treatment. We are asking for representation, a voice in the decisions that affect our lives. Animals have contributed to this planet's success, and it's time that contribution is acknowledged." Polly, ever the passionate voice of the movement, flapped her wings and added, "No more being silenced. We are sentient beings, and we will be heard." The council members listened intently, with some nodding in agreement, while others remained skeptical. Chairman Varric leaned forward, his expression serious. "If we grant the animals representation, how do you propose we integrate this into our existing system of governance?" The council was designed to represent humans and Xenians. Adding another group, especially one that, until recently, couldn't even speak, will be a challenge. Max remained calm. "We're not asking to overthrow the system. We're asking for a seat at the table, where we can voice our concerns and ensure that the policies affecting animals are fair and just. We can work together to find a solution that benefits all of us." The debate continued for hours, with both sides making compelling arguments. In the end, the council agreed to a compromise. They would create a new advisory body, the Animal Representation Council, where animals would have a voice in decisions that affected their lives. This council would work alongside the main council, ensuring that the concerns of all sentient beings on Xenon were addressed. The creation of the Animal Representation Council marked a historic moment on Xenon. For the first time, animals, both earthborn and native, were granted a voice in the governance of their world. Max, Whiskers, Polly, and Bolt were appointed as the first members of the Council, tasked with representing the diverse interests of the animals living on Xenon. The news spread across the planet, and animals everywhere celebrated their victory. It was a moment of triumph for the Animal Federation, but more importantly, it was a step toward a more inclusive and just society on Xenon. As Max addressed the crowd in Unity Square following the announcement, he spoke with pride and hope for the future. This is only the beginning. Together, humans, Xenians, and animals can build a world where every voice is heard, and every being is treated with respect. We are all part of this planet, and now we can truly shape its future. Whiskers, standing beside him, gave a rare smile. Looks like we've finally got our seat at the table. Polly flapped her wings in excitement. No more cages, no more silence. We did it. And so, the animals of Xenon had secured their place in history. They had proven that no matter their species, they had the right to be heard, to be represented, and to shape the world they lived in.